Are you a baseball player looking to increase your arm strength this season? I'm going to go over today several of the foundational rotator cuff and shoulder strengthening exercises I use for every pitcher and baseball player I see in our clinic, and why you need to start doing them today as part of your arm care routine. How do I know this? My name is Dr. Jeff Lewis. I'm the owner and physical therapist of Lewis Physical Therapy and Sports Rehabilitation in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and I have helped countless baseball players get back to throwing pain-free and get stronger. So the whole purpose of today's video is showing you most of the foundational rotator cuff shoulder strengthening exercises I use for any baseball player, especially pitcher, that comes through our door. And I'll preface with saying this: they are basic movements. And especially in today's day and age of social media, where there's a lot of different fancy exercises out there, people telling you how you need to do this fancy exercise, that fancy exercise. If you're not doing that, then you're not going to get strong. What I have found time and time again is that the basics work. And they're the basics for a reason, because you want to build a basic building block and foundation of your arm strength. So don't lose sight of the importance of the basics. And there's been plenty of times where, say I give a guy an arm care program for 2 to 3 months, I might not necessarily change the exercises. I'm going to make sure we're increasing weight, we're increasing volume, we're increasing tempo. So we're changing different parameters, but you can still do a lot of good over a long period of time with many basic movements that we include in a shoulder or arm rehab and arm care setting. So first thing we're going to do today is side-lying external rotation. One of my favorite immediate go-to exercises for just getting some strength and stimulus into that posterior rotator cuff. So all you're going to need is a towel for underneath your armpit, a weight, and if you've never done this before, start light, 1 to 2 pound. If you don't have a 1 pound weight, use a 16-ounce water bottle. And if you've been doing this for a while, then you can just start with, you can use a lighter weight. So what you're going to need to do, I'm going to use the bench for the purpose of this video. If you have a longer treatment table, or longer table where you can support your full body length, that works as well. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to lie on my right side. I'm going to take my hand to support my head here, just so I don't have to worry about my neck getting stiff. But if you have a bolster for your neck, that works too. So towel's going to go underneath my armpit like so. Elbows bent to 90 degrees while I'm holding the weight. My shoulder blade is squeezed down and back. So you might not be able to see it right now, but I want you to think about taking that shoulder blade, in this case my right shoulder blade, and I'm trying to put it into my left back pocket. So I'm engaging that shoulder blade back like that, so my shoulder is not rounded forward like this. Everything's stacked over. From here, I'm going to keep my arm at that elbow at the 90 degrees. I'm going to rotate up, and then I'm going to come down nice and slow. Notice as I'm coming up, I'm not letting my arm cast out like this, but I'm also not coming deeper into that elbow flexion like that. I'm keeping it at 90 degrees. Right here like so, and down nice and slow. The last thing I want to say, you make sure you don't do, is as you're going up, some people are like, wow, I can get all the way up, that's great, but they start to rotate with their body like that. I only care about you going as far as you can with keeping your trunk steady. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is another rotator cuff strengthening exercises, but from an isometric standpoint. So you're going to grab a pair of resistance bands, probably a little bit lighter than you would expect, but all we're going to work on, you can put the bands at a little bit of a lower angle, is a 90-90 isometric hold. So you're going to take those bands, engage those shoulder blades down and back, and then you're just going to work on getting into this 90-90 position and hold it here. The biggest thing is I don't want you to think about holding it with your shoulder necessarily, but more so your shoulder blade, so keeping them engaged down and back. So I'm here, I'm going to hold this, and you want to have a band or some type of cable or resistance that you should be able to hold this for about 30 seconds. It shouldn't be easy, but it should be challenging. The next thing we're going to do is a 90-90 IR, internal rotation isometric hold. So from here, we're now just going to face out, same arm position, we're just facing the other way. So I'm in this position here, shoulder blades are engaged down and back, and I have my arms in this position here. You are likely going to have to use a heavier band or heavier resistance for internal rotation. Naturally, most throwers, especially pitchers, are stronger internally than they are externally. We just have bigger muscles for internal rotators, our pec, lat, teres major. So it's not uncommon that you need a heavier band or a resistance with this. So you're going to be here, hold that position. I'm not arched back like this, but I'm also not rounded forward. Keep my shoulder blades engaged as I hold this position here. Okay? So that's our third one, that 90-90 internal rotation isometric hold. The last one that I like to do, you're going to go ahead, you're going to grab a mini band. So in this case here, I would probably start with a lighter mini band more than anything. And you're going to need a second weight. So we have a mini band here and 2 2-pound dumbbells. So what I want to think about, keeping those shoulder blades engaged down and back again. And now from here, as those shoulder blades are engaged, I'm going to create tension out against this band like so. So I'm not at my hip level. I'm just a little outside my hips and my pockets. So I'm in this position here, and you're going to feel some tension already in the outside part of your shoulders. And then I'm going to, while holding that weight, lift my arms up to 90 degrees and then come down. The biggest mistake I see guys make is when they come up here, they lose tension. So now it's just a dumbbell raise without that external band resistance here. So we're going to be down here, come up, and come down. I'll have guys do that for maybe 15 to 20 reps, and it burns at first. Other variations of progressions for that is I will do an isometric hold with that as well. So it might be, hey, we do 15 reps, and then that last rep we're going to hold here for 15 seconds just to really burn it out. Or we might do longer isometric holds or sets where I'm staying engaged at the bottom, I'm coming up, and I'm just holding this position for 30 to 45 seconds, really just fatiguing that shoulder and shoulder blade musculature as much as possible. So those are 4 of my go-to foundational rotator cuff and scapular strengthening exercise that I do with almost every baseball player, especially pitcher, that comes through our door, whether from a rehab or performance side. So if you're a baseball player or pitcher looking for ways to increase your arm strength this season, but aren't sure how to do so, go ahead and leave a question below in the comments. You can like and subscribe to our channel. We put out a ton of content on a weekly basis dedicated strictly to baseball player rehab and performance.